engineers are able to do almost anything. It's just a question of, let's say, whether we have enough resources to go that direction and whether we have a business model. In our plan, we say, okay, let's first, in the first 5 years, use all the existing technologies, and we would like to put solar power production.
Solar became cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and right now it's actually the cheapest form of electricity. I think you're actually doing the right thing.
Then we would we are designing the system to use excess heat to produce power also. Together with the composition of the power from our area, then we can cover 75% of our power needs from carbon-free sources.
I mean, Europe is a net energy importer. I mean, we import 54% of all primary energy. It's oil from the Middle East, it's gas from Russia, and that is obviously not very strategic. So first of all, we need to decarbonize. So Europe has declared a goal to be net zero carbon by 2050. So making energy is of course much more strategic.
That even in the future we will need some thermal treatment, or let's say usage of heat stored in this, let's say, waste to cover, let's say, needs of cement production, for instance.
There's been a lot of environmentalists against the waste to energy because of a lot of people have this concept that the air quality being released is far more, there's a big impact, when actually the particles that is being released is less than the exhaust from the car.
We have a lot of data of emissions and, let's say, also air quality around us that show that actually there is no difference using normal fuels or waste in our processes.
When we build buildings, any building, we think about concrete, metal, glass, wood as basic materials.
You can replace coking coal with hydrogen, and then you can make perfectly carbon-free steel.
Ideally, we want to be growing all the trees and building all our buildings in wood, because it's basically a resource that we can actually grow and build. But the reality is we are still building a lot in concrete. Someone once said to me, my father, was that it's much easier to build in concrete. It's fluid. It's 3-day cycle to build a high-rise tower of 50 stories. It's as fast as building in steel in Asia. I'm excited to hear about the green concrete because maybe just 2 weeks ago, also in Malaysia, we've been talking about eco-concrete, where there is, as he's mentioned, 15% and 15%, 30% reduction in the concrete.
Hydrogen is it's a molecule, and you can do many things with it, right? I mean, it's a very versatile thing. You can make steel with hydrogen. We heard concrete, but also anything that consumes heat, whether it's to heat the building or even for cooling, you can use hydrogen.
This is a chance that we go in some new things, like, let's say, using hydrogen, maybe for railways. And in this way we create demand. And then we create, let's say, production on the other side.
We now see trains on hydrogen, we see long range heavy vehicles that, where it's just more difficult with batteries than with something like hydrogen. So I think those are some of the sectors where we're going to see hydrogen being deployed first. I think if companies do the right thing, then I think we should support that rather than say, okay, this is greenwashing, because they do the right thing. Of course, we need to push them. They need to go faster, and the change needs to accelerate. But that's it's a joint effort from the public sector, the private sector, and civil society. We all have our role to play.
We are still building a lot in concrete, and so we really would need to get that as green as possible.
If we imagine that, let's say, we go in this cycle of raw materials and cycling the materials from building with this technology, then we can really come to almost zero organic pollutants, the emissions. This is also then a contribution to more safe or healthy environment in the surrounding of industries.